Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Black Male Advice TV, Ringo TV Reactions. Yeah, that's right. We back again with another video. Today we're going to be dealing with an interesting topic. Fresh&Fit podcast, also known as Fresh and Fruity podcast, is in the news once again for more controversy. This time, it's really bad. And we must address this particular issue because it's getting to the point now where the toxic nature of these particular content creators is causing a problem within the community, and it can't be tolerated anymore. This has to be addressed. Yeah. Fresh&Fit podcast is known for being backstabbers, frauds, scammers. They've been in a lot of hot water over the course of last year, and they've been on just a lot of drama, man. They've been in beefs with different people. They haven't been genuine. They've been living a lie, simping the whole time, scamming, ripping off brothers of cash, lying to young brothers about game, yet they're doing something totally different. They've been caught in various scandals, caught simping, caught paying for so many different dates. It's just really, really a bad look. These guys are literally trash. They're not really worth anything in this community. And the sad part about this is that with all the clout, with all the fame, these guys just don't know how to protect their brand. They don't know how to conduct themselves like businessmen, but instead they go out here and make a fool of themselves and embarrass themselves. And no matter what, no matter how many reaction videos, no matter how many different content creators call them out on their BS, for some odd reason, they just get worse and worse. Now, what's taking place today is Fresh&Fit podcast disrespected all sisters of color. Should they be canceled? My answer is yes. Fresh&Fit podcasts need to be canceled. It's one thing if they want to go on their own website, have their own, platform elsewhere, but when you're within the YouTube community and you are not responsible for the things that you say on your platform, that becomes a problem within the community. It's bad enough we have this gender war. It's bad enough we have a situation where we have modern women fighting against the brothers and brothers fighting against the modern woman. We have relationship issues, all sorts of problems. But what these guys uttered on their platform by disrespecting all women of color should not be tolerated, and they need to be removed. There's no need for no apology. When you cross the line like this, it's time to go. You see, I'm going to make it very clear for you. If a white man got up on YouTube and uttered the things that Fresh&Fit podcast uttered from their mouth, their channel would not be around. Do you understand? If a white man within the industry on a so-called platform that is, mainstream, and he got up there and he said what Fresh and Fit uttered on their platform, that particular white man would be canceled. There would be no way around this. But for some odd reason, Fresh and Fit get to say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and it seems like it's perfectly fine within the community. No one seems to have a problem with that. Why is that? Is it okay for these men to disrespect all women of color and not be held accountable? Where much is given, much is required. I don't care about the clout. I don't care about all the money. I don't care about how much fame these guys got. They need to be accountable and held accountable for the things that they say. We're going to react to this and see exactly what's going on and share our thoughts as we go. That being said, let's get into this, y'all.
Oh, it's funny. I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that. Man. We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
Sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, just keeping it real. I don't really date black girls. it's not because like most black girls are like annoying. How to put this ratchet, and they don't know how to like be reserved. You're like the complete opposite.
You are not the stereotype.
Wow.
Oh, it's funny. I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that.
Man.
We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
Sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, just keeping it real. I don't really date black girls. it's not because like
Now, you got to really listen carefully to what these guys are saying, because a lot of times people, they're taking this thing as a joke. What these guys are doing is very, very dangerous. They literally are on their platform degrading, bashing, belittling all women of color. That is what these men are doing. Why the manosphere is not holding Fresh and Fit podcasts accountable, not just for the things they had to say regarding women of color, but the fact that they have such a large platform and they don't take no personal responsibility for the damage that this is actually causing around the world. And it seemed like you have all these black voices all over YouTube, all these men that's supposed to be masculine brothers, right? But yet you all are like sitting down, and a lot of you actually took up for them. A lot of you actually are saying, well, it ain't really that much of an issue. And you try to say, well, it's their platform and they can say what they want and they can pretty much kick off who they want and all this other nonsense. But you don't see how much of a damage and effect it is for these men to say what they said on their platform. And when you compare that to any other ethnic group, if a white man said the same thing on his platform, he would be canceled. There's no way around that, right? If any black man that has a small channel say something like that, right? That right there would be considered hate speech. That alone. But for some reason, it seems as if though it's perfectly okay. So it's okay for men. It's one thing if you're a brother and you have a particular preference, like, okay, you don't like, I guess, women that smoke, if you don't like this. But when you get up and you say something along the lines as these brothers, it gets to the point where it's no longer a preference. This is now hate. And what I got from that commentary from these men is that they hate our women. They have no love for women of color. And for all of you sisters that actually go on their platform, shame on you. Shame on you. No sister should be going on that platform. If you're a sister at the sound of my voice, and you're an IG so-called model, OnlyFans, whatever your situation is, and you still would go on the Fresh and Fit podcast, you are literally a traitor to your own sisters. Because it's like you can't see that these particular two males have no love for you, but they're willing to exploit you for profit. Sad situation, y'all. Let's get back into this.
Most black girls are like annoying. How to put this? Ratchet.
He said black girls are annoying. That's what he said.
And they don't know how to be reserved. You're like the complete opposite.
You are not.
Notice that. Notice what he said about this other sister that was on that particular panel, that particular episode.
Stereotype.
He said to the sister that she don't fit the typical stereotype, right? Here he is bashing our women, degrading our women. You had a sister that was on the panel in front of other ethnic groups of women. She was the only black woman there. And yet, these guys were berating our women, putting them down, degrading them, while a sister was sitting right there, and she had to endure not only the insults, but she had to be the face of the disrespect that came towards all women of color. And to add insult to injury, these particular animals said that she's sort of like an exception of the rule. In other words, although they don't deal with black women and they believe that black women has all of these issues, they try to make her feel like, oh, you're not like the stereotype. So on one hand, they're talking about their own preferences, but then they're talking about stereotypes. So pretty much what they're doing is pushing a stereotype on all women of color on a large platform across the whole globe. Now you tell me, ladies, when you talk about brothers on YouTube degrading and bashing women and putting women down, that right there is a clear example of what it means to bash women. Because if a brother has a particular preference, let's say his preference is white women, right? Why did he have to announce that? What is the point of announcing that? What is the purpose of him doing that? When they did that, it's because they don't like the other ethnic group. This is not about a preference. Because the way they said what they said, you must pay attention to that. Listen carefully.
It's funny, I never used that one, bro, but hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah.
Notice that if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, as if though all women of color names is Shaniqua. But that's mocking sisters as a whole. If you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, as if though all of our women names are Shaniqua. You understand? And then they making mocking noises about that. To all the white women that are viewing, how do you feel to go on the Fresh and Fit podcast knowing that they had these particular things to say about women of color? What do you got to say as a community to know that when you go on their show, they're looking at you in high regard, as if though you, as a white woman, don't have no issues, you're perfect, you're flawless, don't have no attitudes, you're perfect. How do you feel about that? Do you think that Fresh and Fit podcasts should be canceled? Do you think that what they did is wrong? If you're a white woman and you're viewing this particular broadcast, I highly recommend that you boycott their broadcast, boycott their show. Don't participate on their show. Don't go on their panel. Let them sit there and talk by themselves. Because I'm going to be very frank with you ladies. Fresh and Fit podcast cannot survive as a platform without you ladies. If Fresh and Fit podcast eliminated all the women from their broadcast, from off their show, there would be no Fresh and Fit podcast. All you got to do is just look at the numbers. When they talk about anything else besides having women on the platform, nobody really cares about it. So people go over there for the ratchetness, they go over there for the nonsense. But yet he's saying that women of color are ratchet and they're this and he don't want to deal with them. But yet their entire show is about, it's a minstrel show. Fresh and Fit podcast literally is a minstrel show where they degrade women. That's all they do on their platform. So how does that benefit the YouTube community? How could the YouTube community feel good to know that you have men that are degrading women of color as a whole? How does that benefit this community? Listen.
Like, me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that.
Man.
No, notice what he said. He said, me and Fresh are not down with the brown like that. Who talks like that about an entire race of women? Who does that? But see, this is what they've done. And something needs to be done about this, because we cannot have men in the community degrading women as a whole like this. Because if you are a white woman and you're viewing this, and a black man got up and said exactly what Fresh and Fit podcast broadcast to the entire world, if he did that towards white women, their show would be canceled. You would make sure of that. You would not let them get away with that. So just because he didn't direct that towards you ladies doesn't mean that you turn a blind eye to it and say, well, you know what? Black women are going to have to deal with that on their own. No. If you don't deal with that, that means that you're in agreement with Fresh and Fit podcasts. Because this is about women. This is about two men that came up on their camera and degraded women. We're not talking about a preference here. Saying that you don't get down with the brown in that manner, it's very, very disturbing when you have a guy that's supposed to be from Barbados, yet he's acting like he's not a so-called black man. This guy is dark skin in color, but yet he says he don't get down with the brown. And that's cool with you? So your mom, she must be proud, right? You don't get down with the brown. And your boy Myron, who is not even a so-called black man, he's not. He's not so-called African American. So he really is not even in a position to say what he said. What he said is literally racist at this point. You must understand that. Myron is a racist. And there needs to be more black men that speak up about this. Because if this is how we are as a people, where we just let Fresh and Fit podcasts just do what they want. It's one thing that we have men that try to hold women accountable. You want to teach the modern woman this. You want to hold women accountable for that and this and that. We understand we got issues within the community with our women. But we also have issues with our brothers. But to have Fresh and Fit podcasts belittle, degrade, bash, and harm women of color in this manner, in this magnitude, is totally wrong. And for any black man to sit back and just watch that and not have nothing to say, but will side with Fresh and Fit podcasts just because they're talking about women, and just because you got personal issues against black women and you just stand there and do that, you're just a weak man. At this point, you're weak.
Ain't night riders.
No.
So
He said that they don't deal with night riders. They're not night riders. This is what they're saying on their platform. They're not night riders.
I'm good.
sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general.
Notice what he said. Sometimes they'll deal with them if they're red bone. Now that's just pretty much racist. I don't see how could you deal with that. I don't see how could you be a sister that's a red bone, yellow bone sister, right? You're still a so-called woman of color. How do you feel about them saying that they would deal with you if you're a red bone? So this is not really about a woman's character. This is not really about a woman who have an attitude problem. They don't like women of color based on their skin. This is about skin color, because he just said we'll deal with a woman who is a red bone. So typically what they're saying is they'll deal with a sister who is a black woman who is more closer to that of a white woman. This is what they're saying. So if you're a sister that is in the clouds, what are you going to do about this particular issue? Should Fresh and Fit podcast be canceled? Because at this point, the damage is already done. And somebody must hold them accountable for their actions. This cannot be tolerated. We cannot tolerate this.
Me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Notice he said him and Fresh don't dabble in the dark. They don't dabble in the dark. This is how they are disrespecting our women. Now, you think they would say that towards white women? You think that they would do that? If you're a lady and you go on their broadcast, you be on their panel, you go to their studios, shame on you. Shame on you if you're a woman and you would go on Fresh and Fit podcast after they degraded all women of color. Shame on you at this point. There really is nothing else to be said. It's like, if you're a woman and these particular guys are out here doing all of this mess, degrading our women, bashing our women, and we just sit back, turn a blind eye to it like it ain't nothing. And then you're going to go up on their platform talking about, well, I'm just here to promote my work, and, it's an opportunity. And you don't realize that these guys are degrading you. Like, that's just shameful. That's shameful.
Yep.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, just keeping it real. I don't really date black girls.
Notice that. He said he don't really date black girls. And then they bust out laughing. This is not about preference, y'all. This is about hatred towards women. Fresh and Fit podcasts need to be canceled. They're a toxic group. They don't offer nothing for the community in terms of growth. They're not empowering no one. All they're focusing on is exploiting our women, bashing our women, degrading our women for profit. Now, all these other content creators, they'll kiss their behind. They'll praise them because they're all weak. They're following some sort of man code. You got some of these brothers, they got daughters. Some of you brothers, you literally have daughters. And these guys are disrespecting women of color, and you stand there and turn a blind eye to this, man. That's shameful.
Because like most black girls are like annoying.
He said black girls are annoying.
How to put this? Ratchet.
He said that they're ratchet, but their entire show is based on ratchetness. The Fresh and Fit podcast is based on ratchetness. You understand? It's based on ratchetness. When he kick women off the show, when they get drunk, all of this is based on ratchetness. But he's saying that women of color is ratchet. So if women of color is ratchet, then at the same time, he's saying that all these other ethnic groups of women are perfect. Now, what does that do for the image of women of color all around the world? What does that do when you have a Caucasian woman on their platform and there's a sister on the sidelines? How do you think that Caucasian woman feel as she's sitting there? She feel more superior. Not only that, if that's how they feel about women of color, then that means every woman of color that ever been on their platform, they always look down on you. But I'm pretty sure with all of that talk about they don't date black women and they don't do this and they don't do that, I'm pretty sure behind the scenes, in the back in the booth in the dark, there was sisters that was on that broadcast that they tried to smash. I think we really need to focus on a new movement of surviving Fresh and Fit podcasts. And all the women that been abused need to come forward. All the women that been abused, all the women that been taken advantage of, you all need to come forward and talk about these issues. Don't turn a blind eye to this one. These particular men must be held accountable for their actions of degrading women and taking advantage of women.
And they don't know how to be reserved.
Notice he said they don't know how to this, they don't know how to that. But watch this.
You're like the complete opposite.
You are not the stereotype.
Notice he said you're the complete opposite because that was one black woman that was there. Now, to the sister that was actually on that program that day, at that moment, because I don't watch their program, I didn't watch the full video to know all the rest of that. As a sister, once you heard that, you were supposed to literally get up and walk off. You weren't supposed to stay there and sit down and endure that type of abuse and embarrassment. Not as a sister of color. Don't ever do that. No sister of color should ever participate or be on Fresh and Fit podcast from this day forward.
Oh, it's funny. I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that.
Man.
We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
I realized that anytime Myron says something, it's like Fresh. He don't have no backbone to be a man on his own. He always just follow whatever Myron says. And it's just sad to see that he's like a little puppet. Like Myron can say, me and Fresh don't do this. And it's like he drags Fresh into it. He don't take the heat by himself by saying he don't deal with women of color. He drags Fresh into it too. And because Fresh don't know how to stand on his own, he literally goes along with the program and says, yeah, I don't do this and I don't do that. Now, I want you so-called men that are affiliated with Fresh and Fit podcasts that are behind the scenes, working the studio equipment and so forth. I want to know, are you brothers proud of that as men of color? Are you proud of what them brothers did to your sisters? Like, how could you brothers, like, be a part of a show and these men disrespect all women of color? How could you brothers, like, sit there and just kind of think that that's cool? How could you brothers, like, sit there? Is it about the money? Like, you're not going to say nothing because you don't want to mess up your bag. You're down with their crew, so you don't want to really say nothing. How do you feel as a content creator to know that Fresh and Fit podcast literally bashed, degraded, and belittled all black women, right? And they did that on a large platform, on a large scale, and they did this in front of non-black women. I think that's like the worst type of behavior that can possibly be done. That's like there's a room filled with Caucasians and I get up on the stage and I'm like, yeah, I don't deal with the brown and I don't do this with the brown and we're not night riders, if you know what I mean, and I don't do this and that. Like, to do that, to speak like that in front of a white audience is so degrading and shameful. And that's exactly what Fresh and Fit podcast did. And it's like my heart goes out to the sister that was actually sitting down there enduring that type of abuse, because that sister was scarred for life. And she got to deal with the trauma of that experience of knowing that her face is like broadcast all over the world. And although Myron and CEO literally have their preferences or whatever you want to say or call that, for her to sit there and endure that in front of other women that are non-black have to be a horrible experience that she's going to now have to be living with for the rest of her life. And it's just sad that these particular men are able to go under the radar unscathed after that kind of abuse, after degrading women and bashing them in that manner. Again, it's one thing if you're a brother and you have a particular preference of what you don't like or this and that. At the end of the day, I don't really think men have a preference. I think all of that is BS. I think that if a brother see a sister and she fine, whether she's black, white, green, yellow, red. I don't understand how could men. I'm not buying that. I'm not going to buy the fact that you brothers are talking about you don't deal with the brown and you don't do this and that. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. You could be a brother and, an Asian chick could be fine to you. A white woman could be fine to you. A black woman could be fine to you. It doesn't matter what woman is. It's all based on what that woman have that really interests you at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, I don't see how could a brother just say, well, I don't deal with the brown. That's hate. That right there, that's racism. That's not a preference. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't mess with this and I don't mess with that. Well, that means because you don't like them as a whole. So to say what you said in that manner is racism. That's a racist remark. And it needs to be addressed. And nobody should be sugarcoating this. This is real talk, man. These guys need to be held accountable.
Sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
See, that's bad right there. If she's red bone, I'll deal with her. That's what he said. She's still a so-called woman of color, but he'll deal with her if she's a red bone, which means she have to look more European. You see what he's basically saying? She have to look more European in order for him to deal with her. In other words, her skin got to be close to the European woman. That's racist. That's racist to the max, y'all. There's no way around that.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, just keeping it real. I don't really date black girls.
Wow.
It's not because like most black girls are like annoying. How to put this ratchet, and they don't know how to like be reserved. You're like the complete opposite.
You are not the stereotype.
Notice he said you're not the stereotype. So what they're pushing, they're not pushing a preference. They're pushing stereotypes. There's no way to put this, ladies and gentlemen. These two guys need to be canceled. You understand? These two guys are no good, man. These guys gotta go, man. Like, for real. And that have nothing to do with no jealousy or none of that foolishness. These guys right here are toxic, man. And it's very disrespectful for these guys to be doing that to our women. And I think despite the issues that we have and with the dysfunctions of women and the modern woman and single mothers and all these other issues that we have in the community, all of you brothers need to understand that we also have issues with the men as well. But these two guys are acting as if though they're not, like they're above reproach. Like they could just say what they have to say because they're Fresh and Fit podcast and because they have 500,000 plus subscribers. They feel they could just do what they want and it's all good. These are the same guys that tried to remove a lot of you brothers' platforms. Think about what these brothers did to you. These men literally false flagged all of your videos trying to get your channels taken down. But yet, with all the stuff they just finished saying towards our women, you don't think they need to be canceled? See, a lot of you brothers on social media are weak. You too busy trying to show love to these cats, and these cats was trying to get rid of all of y'all. Y'all tripping, bruh. These dudes need to be canceled, man. Ain't no doubt about that, man. Like, for real.
Oh, it's funny. I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that.
Man.
We ain't night riders.
Nah,
So,
bro, I'm good.
Sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's sad. That's sad, fam. There's no other way around this, man. It's like, there's really nothing more to say. It's like these guys are done. If that don't put the nail in the coffin on these guys and let you realize that they already done canceled themselves, I don't see how could people continue to watch a platform where the men are this abusive towards women and nobody have anything to say about this. This is bad. It's bad for business. It's just bad in general. This is not masculine. I don't see how this helps younger brothers. All of you brothers that are men of color that are subscribed to that channel, you really need to unsubscribe. Like, you're not supposed to be subscribed to this type of nonsense, bro. Like seriously, it's one thing to get some entertainment. It's one thing to get some game. You learning new things that helping you become a better man, making you understand women. But when you have dudes that are like literally trashing your women, it gets to the point where the exploitation has gotten so bad now that these guys are literally just saying things that are just straight up out of pocket. And under the right circumstances, them brothers can't come to like the hood and certain places and talk like that about women. You can't do that, man. They doing that stuff because they know they could get away with it on their platform. But see, all of you black men that are sitting back in the cut and you ain't doing nothing about this, you ain't speaking on these issues, you ain't saying nothing, you're weak, bro. Like, for real. You're weak. There's no way around this, man. Like, for brothers to kind of just sit back and not say nothing, it says that a lot of black men a lot of black men are just straight up weak, man. And they don't want no confrontation, and it's like you just want to be on the safe side because you don't want nothing to happen, I guess, to your situation. It's like you don't want to mess up any money or whatever the case is. But this right here, this is a moral issue here, man. And it's not helping the community, man. So that's all I'm going to say on this issue, man. Y'all leave your comments, your feedback. Let me know what you think about this situation, man. You have Fresh and Fruity podcasts out here degrading our women, bashing our women, and brothers are just sitting on the sidelines not saying a word. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? Click that like button, man, so that we can get this video out there so more people can see it. You know what I mean? That helps with the algorithm. Let's get to 1,000 likes. You know what I mean? Share the video, spread the word. All of you brothers need to get on the microphone and speak up about this issue. Don't turn a blind eye to this, man. Fresh and Fit podcast disrespected all sisters of color. Should they be canceled? Should they? Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna take a little break, get some rest, get back up, do some more content. So until then, y'all have a blessed day, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm out, y'all. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $RingoTV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/RingoTVRaw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at RingoTVRaw.
This is Black Male Advice TV, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut.